in the production?
I mean, I don't know if we can say it beyond web series, but I mean, I think if you notice, all of those are an introduction of new technologies. So basically, we love to be entertained, and if we have a new technology and new ways of being entertained, I think that's going to usher in the new formats. I mean, to me, I don't know if you watch, from what I understand, when BioWare makes games, you know, the kind of motion capture that they use and voice capture. If you look at LA Noire, that kind of technology where they're literally capturing an actor performing, and then you're being able to interact with that. I mean, maybe you guys could talk a little bit more about where you think video games were, because I think that's where narrative is going to go.
I would say that video games and motion pictures are slowly converging into the way they're both created. Yeah. So there is a lot of room for cross-pollination, for sure.
That kind of ties to the second part of my question. I wasn't going to ask, but what do you use as a starting point? I mean, you've got video games leading to movies and stories going to video games. Do you just go with what you know and
you go with what you know and who you are. It's all about the story. It doesn't really matter about anything else. You start with the story, and whoever you are, wherever you're starting from, that's where you started. Like for us on this one, it started as a web series, and but you know, a video game can get a movie going, and it can go the other way around too. The only difference there is really between video games and movie storytelling is the length. You know what I mean? Because the video game's got to come up with 40 hours of story, where a movie's like 90 minutes, 120 minutes, you know. So, but it all just depends. You know, if like you're a video game guy and you have a story, you're going to probably start with the video game. If you're a movie guy, you're going to probably start with the movie guy. The web series, you're going to probably start there. But where it starts from and where it goes, it can now go pretty much anywhere. You know?
I think you should start with naked people, and if the story comes out.
Hi, mine's more of just a quick comment. One, it's really exciting to see where all those tweets that Felicia did of, I'm doing my super secret project, I'll tell you later. It's great to finally see where that's come from, because everyone was just favoriting those going, we'll see soon, right? So that's great to see. And secondly, you've already talked about this, but it's also just great to see of what you were talking about, of everyone came into this project because they knew someone or they liked it. And it was just really cool to see what you did on such a tight budget with the trailer, but just it really kind of shows that you don't need couple zillion dollars to do something. If you have people who really know what they're doing and really just want to work on it, you can come up with some really good stuff. So that was just a thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you.
Hello. I was wondering two things. The first thing, when is it going to start rolling out?
We do not have a release date as of now, but I think
Later this year.
It's going to be later this year, probably in the early fall. That's what I would project, but I don't tweet that.
Also, I want to say, Felicia, what you were saying about the attention to detail you guys have given. I really appreciate that, especially because oftentimes, video games and any kind of like TV or movies, they don't have the best track record together. So, but after seeing this, I'm really hopeful that this can really help turn the tide of that. So I was curious, as the web series matures and the games continue to mature, if we'll see an organic crossover of the storylines, so that future installments of the games will play off of elements that may happen in the web series.
I mean, I can't speak to that. I know that when I was crafting the web series, I really did try to make sure that it was very, very true to the world in case any of that were to happen in the future. And also just integrated as a whole. Like you said, there have been some really horrible video game movies, like awful. And I could name much, but I don't want anybody to record that. But and to me, I think that's the problem when the Hollywood kind of the mentality of trying to broaden the reach of the video game to the point where you kind of abandon where the fans started from the game. I mean, I realize they need to appeal as many people as possible. But I think then when you look at the numbers where the video game industry is making more money than the movie industry now, that hopefully, David, I don't know how much, it'd be like 5,000 novels worth of world that you've invented, right? I mean, yeah, 5,000, right? That's exactly how many. But the storytelling that remove that from that creative world and try to just kind of skim the top of it for a movie, like I don't see any reason why the creativity can't be controlled more from that end.
Well, I think what happens is you start working with an outside partner, like who maybe knows something about the world or the story, but they're not overly familiar with it, and they have their own ideas. And I think that's what often happens is that you end up with people sort of with very different ideas about what it's supposed to be. But when you start off with someone like Felicia who believes in it and actually likes it, then you end up with something that maintains the spirit that we have. That's hopefully creates something really special.
Yeah, well, the thing we've been trying to do with Dragon Age is trying to make sure that everything we've created is canonical, to give us the opportunity to revisit these characters, revisit these scenarios in the future if we want to. The great thing in this case is that Felicia's been so respectful of the lore and of the IP that that's been a much easier thing to do.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Hi. The danger with being near the end of the line is that you've actually answered a lot of my questions already. But let me add a little spin, though. It seems to me that good media has the same elements, just great writing, engaging characters and settings, and passion for the source material. But the difference between some traditional media and this or gaming is the engagement of the fans or the viewers. So you already answered my question about the possibilities of video games morphing into more movies and then back to video games. But maybe, Felicia, if you could specifically answer, did this occur to you with your seasons of The Guild? Did fan input impact how you crafted the episodes to follow in each season? It seems to me that if you do keep the canon of Dragon Age and then build new video games off that and then maybe another static film, that would be just a real cool marriage. But specifically with The Guild, did that affect your creation of it?
I mean, just the format of web series. Obviously, working with a web series format, a lot of us, it's an emerging format, and like you can't say, hey, there's a rule, it can't ever be over 2 minutes, or there are a lot of rules people have. But I think, what I've learned in the years of making web series and looking at other web series and saying, hey, that was well done because of this, or that didn't work because of this. Generally, it's a faster pace of storytelling, and it's a kind of storytelling that retains your attention, because you're not just watching something on your cable that's 80 channels. You're watching something on the internet, which is 1 million channels. And on the internet, a piece of web content that's video is kind of almost on the same platform as a blog entry. So you're fighting for people's attention, and that's why I think it needs to be even more immersive and more community-based, so that people can share their love or hatred of what you're making in a really passionate way. And I'm sure, Dragon Age has such an amazing fan base that feel really passionately about it. And there's a sense of ownership in that the fans feel like they're invested in the world. And that's, I think that's kind of the definition of Comic-Con, but at the same time, it's kind of the definition of working in a web series format, especially in the genre. And I don't know, you guys can talk about the community you have around the game a little bit. Maybe not.
Yeah. Dragon Age has an extremely, there's only 5 minutes. Definitely Dragon Age has an extremely strong community of well-versed, highly opinionated. They tell us when they're angry with us and when they're happy with us, definitely. So I think these are people that I think are interested in the world, not just interested in consuming a game or a specific piece of content. So I think that this is a great opportunity for us to serve those people that are really interested in the universe as a whole.
Thank you.
So we have time for a couple more questions, but before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that Felicia will be appearing in the Guilds panel Saturday, 4 o'clock at the Indigo Ballroom at the Hilton next door. So I think some of you actually may have seen the Guilds once or twice, and we certainly encourage you to attend that panel.
And there are a couple more BioWare panels, I believe, too, right?
You know when the BioWare panels are happening?
No? Okay.
No? We're in the
There's
schedule.
Star Wars Old Republic at 3:30.
Star Wars Old Republic at 3:30 where?
Right, in 6 BCS.
in 6 BCF, whatever that means.
Tomorrow, writing in video games with you.
That's
At
He's on that
10
one.
10 a.m. tomorrow, David Gator writing video games.
Right in here. I might have an email somewhere.
Same place, same
So,
time.
David, you can just stay there. We'll look around you.
Oh, I'm in the Rico panel tomorrow as well, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, my question is regarding posting brand advertisers. Is the medium at a certain point where you no longer have to produce shows, garnish a viewership, and then approach brand advertisers, that you can approach a brand advertiser with a pitch and an idea, and they can come on board?
That's a big web series question that would take a long time to answer. I would definitely say that, it shifts every year. This year, it seems like brands want to develop the idea from the ground up a lot more. The Guild was very unusual in that Xbox picked us up after we even made a whole season, which really hasn't been done again in a general rule. I'm sure there are exceptions, but the web series world is very open, and the more people keep watching streaming and watching traditional media online, I think web series have the opportunity to grow. But at the same time, advertisers are always going to look toward reliable intermediary sources like Xbox to guarantee distribution, or a big producer to guarantee maybe a perceived level of quality. It would be hard for somebody who's an independent person who doesn't have a huge track record to go directly to a brand. Even the Guild tried that for years, and we didn't get that on board until we had Microsoft. But there are ways, and that's the cool thing about the web world, is that you can find ways around the traditional establishment and prove everybody wrong. So I wouldn't let that be a barrier, especially if you have a great story you want to tell. You can have your garage and 2 cameras, and you can make something that can motivate millions of people, like you look at YouTube. So, but it's definitely a place that has a lot of barriers, but a way around barriers.
But essentially, they still need to see the demographics really garnish, pull in that money.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
They really need to see the demographics to pull in that kind of money.
Yeah, it just, kind of, it's hard. It's hard. You need to page it, this guy.
But I'm not taking pitches, thank you. One final question.
Hi. This is long, sorry. First of all, I'm geeking out to see Doug here. It's so cool. And my question is, you don't have a date yet, but do you have where it's gonna be available, like YouTube or some place sales? And most importantly for me, is international or just?
That is being worked out right now.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't say anything more specific, but I can definitely say that my personal goal is that as many people watch it as possible, and I'm sure BioWare wants everybody to watch it.
Absolutely, yeah. We're finding as broad distribution as possible, yes.
Yeah.
There are people in this room working on that question now.
They're on their phones. Or maybe not.
Okay, so that was Dragon Panel. I want to thank our guest, John Bartley.